Sean Payton and the Denver Broncos just trolled the national media, trolled fans of every single other team who doubted us for picking Bo Nix, and it feels incredible to be in on the inside joke. Do you remember in middle school when all the cool kids at the cool kids table told inside jokes and you didn't get them? Or maybe that was just me. We are in on the joke. We get what Sean Payton's doing. We've seen it time and time again in Denver. We're going to break that down and the actual gems that we have on this depth chart. We're going to do that and a lot more in this video. If you're new to the channel, I'm a diehard Denver Broncos fan named Ben. Helps me out a ton if you like the Broncos, if you would consider hitting that like and subscribe button. So like I teased in there, we released our first official depth chart today. And the big thing, as we have a three-way quarterback competition, as we drafted our future franchise quarterback, the big thing everyone is gravitating towards is this quarterback line, which has Bo Nix not listed first, not listed second, but listed third on here. And this has fans of every single other team tweeting like little funny emojis. So this is Graph Raider, and he put the little funny emoji. And then you even see like... somebody like Rich Eisen came out, and Rich Eisen's like, oh, what's going on here?
And, you know, it certainly causes you to hit the brakes on Bo Nix starting week 1 in Seattle for Denver, because he's third on the depth chart. How about that? Jared Stidham 1, Zach Wilson 2, Bo Nix 3.
So this just shows you truly how lazy the national media is, and I love Rich Eisen, listen to him a lot. It just shows how little research these people are doing into actual what's happening with the Denver Broncos. No one who has been at camp would say that Bo Nix is the third quarterback on this team right now. And I think it's really helpful to back up and just look at who Sean Payton is as a leader and like the frame of leadership that he does the most. In one of my like educational leadership classes, we learned like different ways of being a leader. Sean Payton is the like prototypical symbolic leader. He does things, these grand gestures. He does things like, do you remember before we played the Buffalo Bills, he painted a logo of the Buffalo Bills logo in the center of our practice field. Like that's a symbolic thing. He does things that are like a little cheesy. And if other coaches tried to do them, you're like, that seems like a made for TV movie. This initial depth chart is a symbolic move for Sean Payton. He even came out and said, hey, as far as I'm concerned, rookies are at the back. And so every single rookie on our team is the last listed person in their position. So there's no way that Devon Vele is truly like the 8th best receiver on our team. He's going to be getting snaps. He will get thrown at that first week against Seattle, yet he is the last receiver listed on our team. Same with Troy Franklin. Sean Payton does symbolic gestures like that to kind of prove a message, and it feels like a little corny and made for TV, and that's not how players respond, but that's who Sean Payton is as a leader. It reminds me of like the Hoosiers movie. Remember when Gene Hackman has everybody come in and everyone's like blown away by the size of the court they're playing at in Indianapolis. And so he's like, oh, let's measure stuff. Oh, see, it's 10 feet, just like the hoop we played on in our practice gym back in our little Indiana town. And that is who Sean Payton is as a leader. There's no way that Bo Nix is not the starter of this team come week 1 in Seattle, and you're just seeing that all over the place. So I love the fact that Sean Payton did this joke. We are all in on it, but there are a couple things on here that aren't symbolic moves whatsoever, and they're legit things. So it's interesting here to see how he has different positions kind of lining up. I think the big one to me that's interesting is I had thought going into the season that Forsythe was going to win that positional battle against Luke Wattenberg for center. Really, that is a big area that we need somebody to step up and fill in for Cushenberry. I've said time and time again, I think playing between two really good guards like he is going to be doing, whether it's Wattenberg or Forsythe, will be awesome for him. And so the fact that he's got Quinn Meinerz, who just got the bag and is ranked as one of the top guards in the entire NFL, and then Powers on the other side, I think whoever steps in that is going to be in a really good situation. Interesting here to see that Troutman is listed as our number 1 tight end. I think that's because he's definitely the better blocking tight end on there. Whereas Greg Dulcich, he has come out and said, hey, there's certain things that I'm not going to ask Greg Dulcich to do. He can try to block, but that's not why we have him here. So seeing that, I think Troutman will be our main tight end for blocking. He can also catch like he did with his butt in that one game, but Greg Dulcich will be our pass catcher if he can stay healthy. And then seeing here, again, like I mentioned here, that we have Devon Vele as the last listed receiver on here, and everyone who's been at camp says, watch out, he has Marcus Colston vibes all over him. Seeing Audric Estime, we know Audric Estime is going to be getting handoffs week 1, and there's no way he should be this far down the roster. And so do not read too much into this. There were a few interesting things here where we still don't know who's going to end up winning the battle. And so our depth chart has them listed as 2 players, like a player or another player. And so we still do not have a tip of the cap for who's going to be winning the battle between Jonas Griffith or Cody Barton. I thought that the fact that Cody was selected to be interviewed at the end of training camp yesterday 2 days ago might make it seem like he has the edge, but then Jonas got a chance to speak to the media on the podium as well. And so you see both of these, that either Jonas or Cody, seeing Cody had a really good relationship with Singleton before the season started and always wanted to come to Denver because of playing Vance Joseph. When he was with the Seahawks, he played against Vance Joseph's system with the Cardinals and said, hey, I loved how downhill and flying to the ball those guys were. But again, we're seeing or there, meaning we don't know here. Looking here at the other cornerback position, this is interesting here that it's Damari Mathis or Riley Moss. I'm truly hoping that it's Riley Moss who wins that. Just he is a freak athlete. His 40 time, his 10-yard shuttle time, a freak athlete. He just needs to truly learn that position, having missed out on training camp at the start of last year with an injury. And then the other big one was at our punter position here, something that Locked On Broncos did a great job breaking down. Just seeing that Riley Dixon or Trenton Gill, we save a little money by going with Trenton Gill, but Riley Dixon has been fantastic. So anything to you all, taking a look at this depth chart that came out that really pops off to you or stands out to you after seeing it, do not be discouraged by the fact that Bo Nix was listed as our 3rd quarterback option. That is not going to be how it plays out. I can guarantee you that. And I think one of the reasons that you can guarantee that is just the over-the-top praise we keep hearing time and time again from every single person who's been asked about Bo Nix. It has not been like previous years when we've had quarterback battles, and you've seen players have to like conjure up things that they like about different players. I remember once when Von Miller was asked about Trevor Siemian, and he like was like really hedging his bets and kind of like, he kind of reminds me of Spider-Man, or actually more like Peter Parker. And it's Peter Parker's just a dude. Spider-Man's the real hero. And you just saw like Von couldn't really actually say anything good about Trevor Siemian. He played with Peyton Manning, was actually good. And that's not what you're seeing here. You're seeing Cortland rave about him, Tim Patrick rave about him. And today we heard Lucas Kroll, not just like give a little bit of praise, but listen as he says, like, what do you think about Bo Nix?
Electric, I think he's the kind of guy, man, when he lets it go, it's just, there's always something with it, and it's going to be a ball that gives anyone an opportunity to make a play. So every time those guys are back there, whether it's him, Stiddy, Zach, all these guys, man, they're doing a great job of giving us every chance to go and attack a ball and make a play. And man, our receivers are doing an unbelievable job. Backs out of the backfield, everyone's doing the role to be able to make plays for these quarterbacks.
So what do you think about Bo Nix? Electric, like that. And then at the end, he hedges his bet and talks about the other quarterbacks a little bit. But the word electric when it comes to Bo Nix, we heard Jaleel yesterday say that Bo Nix is teaching him how to be a better route runner. And so I love that Sean Payton came out and made everyone else think that he made a bad mistake by drafting Bo Nix. He is not 3rd on our depth chart, and that is something we can all believe in. That one, man. I think I got hit in the arm.